Yo, check it out. Want to know if the price of those Wave Runners is too good to be true? Or if I Wear My Kicks 49 is truly selling dead stocks? Or if that Jordan 1 Royal Box is original? eBay checks. See that little blue check mark? Behind is a team of independent authenticators who check. And we mean everything. Every tongue, check. Every toe box, check. Every corner of every box, check, 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 check. Every logo, every label, every lace loop. Yeah, it's checked. The luster of the leather, the topography on the tags, to the straightness of the stitching on the sole. Everything you can see, and even some things you can't.
Really?
Then they tag them, log them in the system, box them up, and ship them out, with no cost for the buyer or seller. eBay checks, so the moment you open that box is as real gets.
You know, I think Moist Mogul's slogan of "Let's get wet" doesn't factor sweat into the equation. Usually it's just maybe a little bit of a fun play on words, but that time it was absolutely the case, as the moisture was coming from every pore and orifice possible. Moist really had to work to win that first map, way more so than we would have anticipated, as I think maybe we came in underestimating FaZe just a little bit, which fair given the circumstances. Moist Moguls is one of the better teams currently competing in challengers. The glow up from Split 1 into MSF and now is warranted. But man, what a series to kick things off on that first map. Going into that final round, it seemed like everything was lost. It was going to go into OT, and then Brock does what they had been doing all map long here, Dryad. It was a clutch factor. They had 4 clutches, and that one's a 1v4 to close out the map.
Something that we talked about at the beginning, the clutches and the individual plays that really come through when these players need to step up, and they always do. Now, keep in mind, these was both of the pistols going for the side of FaZe, so they had that advantage for 3 rounds because one of the anti-ecos they ended up losing, and it was still the map avoiding overtime and going the side of Moist. I think, yeah, it looks very close, but with FaZe winning the pistol, the rifle v rifle, and the chances that we saw for Moist, they were always one step ahead. And FaZe, they were doing adaptations. They played really well in that first half as well when they needed those attacking rounds. After the timeout, you could see the difference as well, getting a little bit more space, getting a little bit more of map control early on. But for Moist as well, in the second half, when you're attacking and you're on this map, it feels like you have all the confidence to be able to make it work out.
And you are absolutely kicking yourself if you're FaZe because of those clutches, right? So there has to be that conversation going into this next map of how they can play together. It looked pretty sloppy in that last round. Everybody kind of giving 1v1s over to Brock. I do want to give a lot of love to this FaZe defense, though, because we talked about, or I talked about, and too much about how strong Moist is on the attack, and FaZe did such a good job not only handling kind of the aggression that was brought to them, but minimizing what Moist was able to do, of the way that they were able to play around the map, which is a huge map, mind you. Tig was the calls and the reads that Tig had were beautiful until finally we get into that very last round. The timeout is called, the scramble is there, and Brock does Brock things. But you got to give a lot of love to that FaZe defense. They had a really strong second half. They just could not stop, the firepower of Moist.
Yeah, Moist had a 1v1, a 1v2, a 1v3, and a 1v4, excuse me. The 1v2 and 1v4 were Brock's. Brock had an additional 4K. There was another 4K on the team as well. I believe that one was Thief, if I'm not mistaken. It's just, it's kind of tough. It was Fly, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's tough to really rebound from those situations. And, you know, one of the things we came into this one talking about, hey, you know, Baby Bay at times has lost his luster. We've seen Baby Bay struggle as the team has not really managed to click. The new roster, things are trending upwards again for Baby Bay. He seems to be back towards his original form, and that first map was certainly a clinic. 29 and 15 in the performance there on Lotus, even though they do end up losing. We now go to Haven. Haven is a map that historically plays very nicely, Tanner, for Jet mains. So this is a world where Baby Bay can really shine and continue to do what he did in map 1, except maybe bring the rest of the team along with him.
Yeah, this is also a map where I think maybe Poised feels a little bit more free. Recently, they've been bringing in the Cypher, which I absolutely love this map for Cypher. You're not tethered to any of your util like you are the Killjoy. Obviously, you lose a lot in way of site holding potential. You don't get the lockdown, but it Poised was somebody that we talked about being so incredibly strong. And if this guy is mid-rounding, when you're thinking about the attacking side, it's going to be great for him, right? To be on these solo missions, to play around this large map of Haven on that Cypher, not be tethered by the team or any utility, and help make those calls and call for those rotations with the space that he's able to gain. So I think this is going to be Poised map as much as the Jets will shine. If we see the Cypher again, I feel like I've talked about it too much, so they probably change it up. But historically, it has been a Cypher on Haven, and I absolutely love that pick for Poised.
It's interesting because in the weeks where we've seen that success for FaZe, has been different players stepping up for different maps as well. But I think for that week, you have, you know, one insane performance from Superman, one from Poised, one from Baby Bay, and those are the wins that they've been able to get. It does feel like this week could be Baby Bay's, even though they do lose that first map. He got 29 kills. 7 of those were the first kills that he was putting onto the side of Moist. And also one of the concerns that has always been for anybody facing this squad is, how are we gonna shut down Baby Bay? How are we gonna stop him from getting momentum? Even if he loses this first map, there's a big chance he's gonna step up massively for the second one, because also FaZe, they haven't been able to close it out in 2 on the results that they've gotten, so there's a big chance that we go to 3 maps.
It's also important to point out the elephant in the room. This is not their pick. This is Moist's pick, and it's understandable why. Under the Moist banner, they're 5-0 on the map, and they've beaten teams like the Guard. They've beaten teams like G2 and M80, Shopify Rebellion. Those are big name teams. It's not like they beat like just the lower end level teams. They did beat OR Esports, but I'm saying it's not like they beat OR Esports and Disguised, who struggled this stage, or Mad Lions. They're beating teams who are sitting near the top. This is a map they feel very comfortable on. And on the flip side of that coin, they haven't had much success on the map. FaZe, that is. You know, they have played G2 quite a lot on it, so to be fair, it's like they've lost to the same team 3 times. But they're really struggling to find their footing on the map themselves. So it's difficult to say that it's going to be a really strong performance from them just because of the hurdles they've encountered in the past. But what we'd like to see is that promising performance from Baby Bay in map 1, because like we said, this is a map where we've seen Jets take control. We've seen players like Koala Noob do it in the past, where he systematically picks apart the defense one by one, sort of like a Halloween episode of any show where players or characters start disappearing one by one. It's kind of like that. Like all of a sudden you're looking around, you're like, where is everybody? But it's time for the Agent Select, and we'll see what these teams bring to the table for map number 2. I'll see you guys on the other side.
Oh, thanks, man. Triad. Boys is on Killjoy. Why did I say anything, man? Why did I even bring it up?
This is on you, Tanner. Like always.
That's the worst caster curse in the world. I love Cypher on this map. I get the Killjoy,
I love this. No, I'm sorry, but I love the Killjoy. Killjoy is just so much better in so many maps, including this one, and I think FaZe are about to show us why. This is a team that we were talking about hasn't had the best result on this map, especially last week where they faced G2. They wanted to take that win on this specific map that G2 has been dominant on against FaZe. They couldn't win it, so clearly that was an indication for FaZe to make those changes. And I love this Killjoy. I feel like it gives you so much support. The ultimate is going to give you that space that ultimately FaZe is trying to get, and also a little bit more control on the defensive side. I don't know, Tanner.
Yeah.
It's not
everything that
Killjoy.
Everything that I talked about is now out the window. Not that you can't lurk on the Killjoy, but does it get harder on this map? Yes, it absolutely does, being tethered to that utility. But Killjoy or Cypher aside, we've got ourselves a nice little mirror composition. This has been the comp that has been played basically across the world on this map. No real changes outside of maybe some players bringing in the sky or flexing a different controller. And, well, Moist Moguls, for a second, it looked like they thought they were on the attacking side. And nope, that is going to stay as they will fight their way down mid.
This is aggressive, and remember, all of these pistols for Moist are always aggressive, even if they're on the defense. That is not where the aggression for FaZe actually wants to come through, so that means the flank is going to be expected once again.
Yeah, Brock doing good to walk away from the site, too. Doesn't want to give up anything for free as he's the lone member. Turret dealt with and read the flank. So FaZe might have a bit of paranoia setting in that they could be coming from this direction. And look at this from Moist. They walk their way back through the link. Baby Bay seemingly ready for it. But all 10 still alive here. Oh, it's so fast. Paranoia through Sim to find the first. Brock will collect another. FaZe still kind of reeling in the first few kills that happen. And, well, Sim and Brock are taking matters into their own hands. It's all up to Tig with 8 HP and a dream. Unfortunately, it quickly becomes a nightmare. And Moist will take the pistol.
That was actually so good for Moist because they go in what you think is going to be that flank once again in the pistol, as they often do, but they actually only take down that turret. So it leaves Poise feeling really uncomfortable, having to keep his eyes on the flank and not really knowing if there are going to be players coming there, how many are going to be coming there, as this is a play that Moise always do. So a little bit more of the same with that twist of actually there's nobody in the flank. We're playing fast for that entry and getting that pistol. Because that first map didn't really give us a pistol round for Moist, now this is the real chance to test out what we were talking about. The anti-ecos, they usually don't go the way off the squad after they win the first round.
Yeah, things usually get a little goofy here for Moist, and they bring 2 rifles into it, but I'm keeping an eye on those light shields because Baby Bay and Poise both have sheriffs. FaZe quick onto the B side after shock soup. Okay, wanting to stick the spike, will give that one up. Takes a bit of damage. Baby Bay reassumes his space here. Finds the first fly is gone. Sim there for the trade. These pistols are really starting to show up, but the backstab, it's so swift from Moist as they do secure this second round.
Well done. And I did get scared for a second when you see that aggression, when you see the side of Moise actually pushing for these kills, which was ultimately one of the things that didn't enable them to get the results that they wanted on the anti-eco, them dying 1 by 1. But this time around, it turns their way. And just think about it. Out of the 20 pistols that Moise have played in the second split, 5 of them, they ended up losing the anti-eco. And so it was something that was really concerning that they said that they were going to be working on. You can see how much they put the effort into this to make sure that those rifles are a lot easier for them. Now a pause.
Interesting. So time for the players to speak amongst themselves. The coaches, however, cannot get involved in the technical pause. Still early days here on Haven. You're mentioning it. Full buy coming through for FaZe. I believe a couple of rifles will make their way into this round for Moist. And on the defense, I didn't see what the economy was directly, but we saw a round 3, I almost at a level 3, a round 3 operator from Baby Bay on Lotus. I wonder if we get that from Sim, who was also sporting an operator in just about every round that he could in that map number 1.
Had a rifle for the last round, and this is something that the teams, I mean, he could give it to somebody else, you know, but it's something that we've seen recently for the buys all across, you know, not only challengers but Americas, where this buy for round 2 is a lot more expensive. Oftentimes, you know, you'll have something like 2 rifles, maybe 2 ghosts, and 1 of them that can be a bulldog, a specter, something like that. For this one, it was a little heavier for Moist as well, but, you know, it makes it go their way and obviously increases the chances of getting the bonus, which is actually another point here. Like I said, 5 of the rounds, of the 20 pistol rounds that Moist have won, 5 ended up being them losing the anti-eco right after, but also 5 have turned into them winning the bonus after. So it's very, you never know what you're gonna get. Them winning the bonus and getting a massive momentum, or it being shot down right at the beginning.
We'll see if the aggression continues. I was wondering, I was thinking, all 5 players are here. The cams are up. A lot of the times, technical pause is get a cam back up, or a keyboard or a mouse stops working, but everybody's sitting down, so maybe something on our end that we had to work through, but the players happen to be back into the server, and I was expecting aggression from Moguls, but we're not giving it just yet.
And Sam, thinking about the possibility for having an operator, since that's, keeping the rifle that I mentioned early on, and the buy is about the same, maybe not the ghost, but it's still just 2 of the pistols that they have and 2 rifles only to make it work. I mean, and you also have it in the hands of Sim and Brock, so big chances here as FaZe try to shut it down. heavy killjoy utility towards B as well.
None of it dealt with
No.
just yet. Shock darts
there
don't
you
find
go.
too much that time. Stray bullet will collect the first, so Super able to plant safely. Shrouded step away to safety. As a paranoid to play with. 5 still alive here for FaZe, and they've got the better guns, Dryad.
And you shot down the nanoswarm that was enabling that plant, so it's so much better. Nobody ever gets that space, though. So yeah, concern to deal with as boys. Just
One
like
enemy
that, they are
remaining.
able to secure the round. No, wait. What
Okay.
just happened here? Wait, what?
Okay. That's fine.
This is what I mean. You never know where you're gonna get with Moist. And these early rounds, the chances of them converting that bonus and they do so nicely, so quick as well. They don't get any space towards B. They get that spike planted thanks to the moment. He TPs out. And the kills just come through right away for this defense.
I think I'm starting to get it now.
You get it? Oh.
I'm gonna hold the thought for a second and see if FaZe can't find their way back into this game, because they had economy to buy into this next round. Supa obviously down early, never feels good, but they brought a handful of rifles and a bulldog for Mummy. I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
Moist Moguls win round 3. And at this point, I know it's our job to show emotion, but I get why the players are just like, yeah, okay. We did it.
You know
We
how it
clutched
is.
1v4. We did. They win that third round like it literally like nothing happened. Okay, we'll walk in. We'll defuse the spike. They do it again. They just continue to impress.
And more than anything, it was an absolute, I think, for that last round, the misplay by FaZe of exactly what he said. They couldn't get any space. So they were all playing main. They got shot down by every single angle. There was no chance. And a Moist that is able to read into this so nicely. So yeah, that is where the comfort and the confidence comes from.
And do they read into this, however?
30
3 players
seconds
alive. Don't overextend into that A site. Mummy gonna get that spike planted. Doesn't get out of range of the aftershock, though, so takes a bit of damage. He walks away from it. The members of FaZe hold one side of this B site. Baby Bay inside the link. 2 players here on the site holding C link. Mummy first one to take the fight. Sim goes down. Flash available. Tig Mo's down 2. Wants to try and find some more, but Thief here to minimize the damage done thus far. As that
No
spike
way.
continues to tick. Thief is not a healthy player here. Gonna hop onto the spike for a moment. Doesn't force the hand of Baby Bay. He stays inside the smoke. He can't find the kill onto Brock, and Mummy might have just done enough. Fault line goes out. Thief can look to get this spike just about halfway. No time, but he'll stick it the rest of the way, and the right click will get it done. FaZe are finally on the board.
Good patience as well by Mommy. Even having that Rolling Thunder, but knowing this is a classic as well, the time was going to be more than anything, more than everything here that they needed for FaZe. The buy was still good as well for that kind of play, and you see the change right away, that fixing that mistake from the last round as soon as possible. Well, last round we couldn't take any space towards B. This time around we're gonna be all across that B side, making sure that entering that retake is not gonna be possible by Moist. But yeah, because of that moment, gonna have a Rolling Thunder to work with here. Something that we often see towards the A side, where the players are looking towards early into this round.
Yeah, you knew Sim was just gonna walk past that drone, try and find somebody behind it. Nobody home, however. Flya finds a bit of spam damage through the map. But FaZe, they know where that op is, so they head the opposite direction. Meanwhile, Sim is slowly trying to track him down, has since repositioned here on the B site.
Nowhere to run!
It's pretty aggressive, but maybe one player that he's able to get here. Yeah, the head is actually coming through towards C. Hunter's very invested in everything.
Yeah, a Portal backed off by the Hunter's Fury, but now here to help. Thief has also since been dug out of this site, and the chains of the anchors have been broken, and this ship's starting to sail away, and it's doing so in favor of FaZe for now, as the stun is good. The weapon wasn't out, and Brock had no chance of another 1v4 clutch.
Good play there once again by FaZe to secure that second round for them, and in a way where they actually go for this investment of the Hunter's Fury, knowing that there's a chance for that full retake of Moist, but as the players try to leave, try to even contest that push, is the Hunter's Fury slowing it down and making sure that FaZe will take all of that C site.
Recalling my bot.
This is where it can get scary for Moist. When FaZe, they start getting these rounds, they have this ultimates to work with it and to kind of play around depending on how the rounds are going.
This time the C site was heavily defended. Thief didn't want to stay and try and fight on the site. Ooh, but Moist invested a lot into this one, trying to run him off this side as the Proto works his way back in, finds a trade onto Baby Bay. FaZe are still here though. They only back away momentarily as the Proto low in HP, make it 5 to his name, places the lockdown, and will force this attack away.
And the spike here never got planted, right? So it is just a space, a FaZe flat for a second, had to give up because of that lockdown. And because of that kill, the Protogati actually went and passed the smoke to get that one kill. This is something that he often is doing. And something that FaZe might have to be a little bit more aware of it if on this map it continues to happen. FaZe, they lose that side that they once have. They have to adapt around it. The turret is gonna be here up close for contact on the B side. And yeah, the lockdown itself by FaZe indication enough.
It's a good investment there. Sim gonna try and catch somebody moving a bit too early. It was Mummy getting a little antsy. Getting caught up is Sim. Supa, we'll see if he's allowed to plant. Nothing really to stall, so spike goes down from the shadows. Now being used to sneak out towards the spawn. Nobody's coming from this direction, though. It's all 4 from the top side of the map for Moist Moguls. FaZe believe they have themselves set up properly. We'll see if they can hang on to this spike. Sim's got it halfway, hops off for a moment. Beautiful reveal there by Tig. Looking to find himself another multi-kill. Instead, it'll be poised to do just that. Mummy will cap it off, and FaZe have tied us up.
And nobody playing up close this time, but yeah, that reveal from the dart was everything as well to guarantee those kills. With one of the players for Moist already so low is a FaZe that gets their 3rd round and starts showing a little bit of what they got in this map. Honestly, and we talked about it during the desk, they haven't had the chance to do so many of the times that FaZe ended up going to this map of Haven. It was going against G2, losing against G2. But a map that they always attempted and had really good ideas on. Now with the Killjoy changing a little bit more, and you see even the lockdown, all that space that it got for them to work around. Oh, Brock.
Wow.
Down A.
And almost lined up 2 more there.
Yeah.
That's as much damage as you could hope for. Now FaZe not only need to be wary of where these weapons end up, but also wary of what's ahead of them. 2 sheriffs await them here on the A site.
Yeah, now the play is pretty much holding these weapons so the defense can't get them. What that means is probably gonna end up on this A site. Oh,
Look
wait.
at Thief.
Thief, yeah, he got a timing. Seems like Killjoy got out of range for this alarm bot to the flank. Are they expecting it?
Frontline finds a stun on a Supa. Baby Bay's still okay. Poise getting caught with util out, but he sneaks away. 1 shot left in the 6-shooter here, and Sim is good for it. Baby Bay will try to survive, but he's got to do more than that if he wants to win the round. 3 players just around the corner. Sim for 3, a thrifty victory, and Moist are back on top.
That was massive by Brock as well. Going aggressive. The Sova going in with the Bulldog towards A long gets 2 kills. And yeah, because of that, you don't want to give the rifles. So you're forced to stay in that position. And I mean, the timing here was everything for Moist. Really well played there. Looking for those opportunities, and I think that's what makes this team different. They're not waiting for the opportunities for them to arise and to come up and allow them to shine. They actually make them happen.
Tag on a Baby Bay survives the 3rd shot. I think Sim revealed. Either way, he'll be stunned. Baby Bay, it's aggressive for a moment, dashes away. 4 defenders out towards this C site. Moist have the read at the start of this round. Damage exchange means both Jets, more so Sim, not necessarily in a fighting condition.
Nobody towards this A side right now for the attacking side, so maybe some more space here that Moist are able to get to close out the map. or the defense. This B side also becomes so much more difficult. We've seen FaZe go for it, but now with the Rolling Thunder on the other side, just giving that space completely, knowing that tool was going to be enough for it.
No way Sim gets one, right?
This
No
ain't
way
so
Sim
good.
gets one, right? 2 HP in a dream, and well, it turns into reality. Finds his first. Thief there for the trade. The backstab still good as the Proto have reassumed the position behind the box on this C site. Meanwhile, poised. The last one standing as he works his way up C long. And there's too much to deal with there. Moist will grow their lead to 2.
Two of the players on the A side pretty far forward, so Moist just knowing that that play was gonna end up towards the C side. And yeah, when you're Sim, you're 2 HP, you need to go for this one, for this place very up close, an angle that we don't see very often. But he had the rest of his team to even take down the dart that would reveal him and guarantees at the end just that 1 kill by itself. So well done once again by Moist with the really good read on FaZe.
Revealing area.
FaZe still able to buy, though. They are managing their economy
Yeah.
well.
They have the light shields as well. I'm really glad that FaZe got into this light shield meta. I remember we would see them saving a lot of these rounds, having to go for the ecos with pretty much nothing but shares, and now it just looks a little more solid. You're able to secure 3 more rounds, 3 more rifle rounds, and the chances are always there.
They don't even have a chance to fight here on the B or on the C side. Excuse me. No defenders home. Thief will deal with the dart. Meanwhile, FaZe will get themselves set up. The players working their way through garage. Stun comes through. Proto gonna show his head, and well, Tig will take it off. Baby Bay will also find one onto Flya. This defense gave up this C site and seemingly gave up the round as Thief is forced back. Beautiful paranoia catch 3 players of Moist. Nanoswarm will keep him at bay, and Sim just on the other side gets taken down by Mummy.
One enemy
This
remaining.
round is by FaZe. Brock, the last one alive here. We've seen clutches, but not for this round. FaZe actually fight for that garage control because the Rolling Thunder was going to come through from there. And it was the worst 2 players to get taken down first when it was a Proto and Flya. Flya having the ultimate, but a Proto having the util on garage. Gets taken down just before it gets activated. And so those 2 kills come through. And pretty much gave that round to FaZe. It was a Moist that were playing retake on C, but with those tools, and then they were not available. There was nothing else that you could do.
Sim rifle becomes Sim operator here. Gonna try his hand once more with an op out towards a long. Nobody home. FaZe doing a good job minimizing the amount of value this Jet player can get
Sim was
in the
so
last
aggressive
round
here.
into this one.
Seeing with this positioning as well. Spotted. Yeah, that's a call here to back up. How much that you can do into it with a Jet.
That's not ready.
And at this point in the game, Moist know that FaZe are not going to go the way of the op. So they stack things up across the map. But one defender already dealt with. Rock now taken care of. FaZe back away from the B site. 5 players to their name, but maybe 1 less. Tig tries his hand at the first peek. An up shot that does not find Sim means he walks away with his life, but this guy wants some more.
Looking for some more, but now it's
30 seconds
A
left.
side, and the player's getting stunned by this Rolling Thunder. No matter where FaZe wants to go, there's an answer
down
here by
A.
Moist.
And that was a spike as well. 20 seconds on the clock. Poise got himself oshed up here outside the B site. Nanoswarm will make sure this back stays clear. But what about what's happening here on the site? They think it's safe, but it's just
Spike
not
down B.
that. 12
10
seconds on the
seconds
clock.
left.
Spike out of reach. FaZe just have no answer to get back into this one. Boys stuck here on the B side. Baby Bay just outside, but with an operator, no way back into the round, and Moist will secure another.
You can see the mental games for that round happening alone, right? Where, okay, you spot the operator A, we're not gonna go there, we're gonna go B side actually, but then all of that breach utility comes through without the ultimate actually. They keep this ultimate for just a little bit longer. And so, knowing the ultimate is gonna be on the other side of B on that back side, FaZe once again, they go for the change, they go for that adaptation, and it's all the way back in A. One of them gets shot down. Rolling Thunder comes in. They get stunned. It's just no thing that you can do. Because, yeah, Moist, they secure their round number 6, and FaZe, they take a timeout.
Taking a timeout here, try and figure out this. The defense is, hey, Sim, you just hold down one side of the map. The rest of the team will take care of the rest, and it's working. Now you have to find... I always think about, especially out towards the C site, right? We've seen Thief kind of anchoring alone on the site, a Proto in close proximity.
Yeah.
And FaZe needing to find ways to dig these site anchors out of the site. But now it's, okay, we need to start investing and dealing with Sim, because this guy continues to be a problem in the early round, in the mid round, in the late round. Just finding where the operator isn't enough. Or is it enough? Do they expect Sim to be alone like we've seen in the last couple of rounds? We won't see it here.
I think that's just the play style that seems like Simmering. Obviously not every time, but in so many of these rounds you see solo plays by Sim, and he's making them happen.
He's got backup this time around, though. Out towards mid, Thief with the low ground, Sim with the high ground, kind of.
And it's just before the turret detects them. So holding on to this could really help them out. But the two players here, the two initiators for Moist, playing super far back on that A side, actually willing to retake it. Only one kill away from having that Rolling Thunder 2. So maybe one of the reasons why they want to leave this A site for that full retake.
And drone out, short control, Nano Storm to try and clear back sight. Paranoia across, and FaZe want to hit it. They've got the set play, they've got the sight now to their name. Mike not yet planted. Super takes a bit of damage from the first shock dart. Second one lands almost perfectly. Meanwhile, Thief works his way across the map, deals with the first. Paranoia will make it harder as Tig wanted to go back and fight. He gets shots in the side. Sim makes good with the operator, and just like that, this attack who took the site have been removed in near flawless fashion. Moist will find a 7.
It feels like a false sense of confidence that FaZe got into this A side. Actually, nobody's fighting it. Everybody's playing far back. We actually get to save this Rolling Thunder for the post plan. No, there's a flank coming through. The kills are already coming in for Moist. And despite getting the fuse right at the end, 7 rounds for Moist. And slowly, with this small ideas, really proving why.
One enemy remaining.
They are undefeated on this map of Haven. FaZe not accounting for that flank was everything. The Rolling Thunder saving it for the post plan. It seems like that could have been enough for FaZe, and Omi gets shot down.
Revealing area.
And Thief has been very tricky. Either as the C anchor or lurk slash flank. For the defense thus far, but we do finally get that Rolling Thunder. The defense on the A side could be forced back. Are they back enough, though? Baby Bay tries to get aggressive. Cannot quite catch them as they work their way through the link. So the A side has been assumed once more by FaZe. We've seen what happens, though. This doesn't necessarily mean they get to hang on to it as they try and buy out the shock darts. Baby Bay goes up top and tried to catch a timing onto Brock, but rifle out will force Baby Bay away. Meanwhile, Tig holds the flank, but that's not where it's coming from. Again, they want to just slam their way through. The Paranoia sets in of the flank, and Sim will do it again. Works his way on, deals with the first. Hunter Shuri comes through as Tig is trying to help his team out from off the site, but it might not matter. 2 remain. It's the 2 new additions. Lockdown use. It's the last round. Just go full send on it as Mummy looks to go aggressive. He's been dealt with. Tig will follow suit in another near flawless round. Means an 8-4 half for Moist as we swap sides.
8 rounds on the defense, once again making it look really clean for the retake of Moist. But the same setup that they had in that last round, Now actually going the way that they expected, right? The Rolling Thunder gets out of space for FaZe, they get that spike planted, and then the retake was so good because of the space that Sim got very early on. Gets that one pick, and that is the green light for everybody else on the defense to try to get their one. 8 rounds here for Moist. FaZe once again, and now more than ever, maybe with a back against the wall, trying to get this pistol, needing this pistol more than anything. In a map where they show a change, they bring the Killjoy. They have some cool ideas on the B side when we got to see them on attack, but now they gotta show
Scanning ahead.
how the setup is gonna look on defense.
Man. Super not quite on a solo mission, but Mummy not there to help him just yet. Flash is to try and help himself, but doesn't amount to much. Meanwhile, this space has been taken by Tig. Works his way up now, has a backstab of his own. He was tired of dealing with the flank, so he becomes the flank himself. It just was not enough. A player down our FaZe, and Moist are headed across the map.
The fight takes quite some time there, so get called there by Moist. As the rotations probably already came through for this side of FaZe on this defense, so they end up
Shadows traveling.
on C. There's a flank here, maybe double flank. Doing a little bit more of what Moist like to do. A bit of their own medicine, but does it work out?
Revealing area.
A phenomenon just like Double Rainbow, the double flank. Boys and Baby Bay have given up the opportunity to 2v3 though, and they'll take a couple of 1vx's. Baby wins the first 1v1. Beautiful shock dart though, placed perfectly. Brock, the cherry on top of this pistol round, closes it out onto Poised, and Moist Moguls, they just keep marching forward.
Keep going forward. Even if one player gets shot down there, Brock once again able to answer and dominate. Love seeing Brock coming out with these plays, closing these rounds, closing these maps, just because it was a Brock that we saw early, even before the split, when this team was trying to qualify, and a Brock that everybody was talking about. Then he goes a little quiet, and for the second split, he's been unstoppable. Incredibly consistent, fully confident and comfortable with this squad. The pretty heavy buy here, too.
Yeah, heavy understatement. This is anything but an easy anti-eco to lose. Sim and Thief collect another couple of kills. Baby Bay, what do you got for us, buddy? Maybe a few kills on the way out. Marshall in hand, and okay, not bad. First kill on the Thief, tries to take another shot, but Brock will put a stop to that one there. So double digits here, 10-4 the score line, and FaZe, they push them to their limits in map 1, which is relatively uncharacteristic for Moist. Their wins have been pretty decisive, and I think during the break they reminded themselves of that, and they look to do this one just as decisive as the wins in the past, unless FaZe can get things going. It's their first rifle round. We'll see how they handle this Moist aggression.
A couple rifles for Moist by Sim and Brock, two of the players that we talked about, especially for that last round, what they were able to do. The spray through the smoke is, with a Vandal as well, good enough to take down Sim.
And good on Tig to find that first early kill. Spots Brock as well, so they know that's still pressure on this side of the map from the Moguls. But whether there's one person left or 5 people left for Moist Moguls, we know that they're going to play the round exactly the same way as they would. Mummy tagged, maybe needs to back away. Spammable behind that box on the C site, but he doesn't give up the position just yet. Paranoia will subside. Tig was not affected, but he still gets fragged. This Baby Bay collects 2 for himself, matches the 2 of Thief, but its number is still in favor of the defense.
The 2 players here for Moist as they get the spike planted are the 2 that have the rifles right now. Hunter's Fury also becomes available for this post plan, but Brock cannot back up here.
Brock in a tough spot. Thief gonna try and help him out, holding heaven. It's 2 players there. FaZe are expecting them to get a little aggressive. The numbers are now even. Paranoia comes through. Brock will take a fight with Supa. Drop down from Poise as Brock will sneak away. He's got the Hunter's Fury, a Recon Bolt, and a Shock Dart. Does he need any of it, though? The tap comes through on the spike. Poise catches him off guard and gets it done for FaZe.
Oh, the timing, they're perfect for Poise. Closes out their round, and that was about to be a disaster for FaZe. Poise gonna handle it just fine and get the timing into Brock as he was trying to send that dart for info. That distraction as well.
And that has got to feel good. Brock not feeling comfortable enough to back away into the link. Find that dart on the wall, something of the sort, because Poise had tapped the spike. So beautifully played there.
Yep.
Pyrrhic victory, a lot of damage dealt, but fortunately, Baby Base had a good couple of rounds, meaning Blade Storm online. So the Wind Blade shower there for the Jet, the rest of the team. Bye's not awful.
Yeah, still fine.
Deploying drone.
It was more the heavy investment that we saw in the second round, but for the third one, you're just keeping about the same. So this is what we've seen from the teams. You can still buy it, and that is why play here for the economy is so good. Hunter here actually comes through. Yeah.
Baby Bay out and over the top. Tig almost running into it. No low health on 2 members of FaZe, but those members are still alive. Baby Bay works his way through just behind the drone. Brock backed away. Shock Dart to deal with some utility. No crossfire. For Sim just around the corner. But a dart queued up. As soon as this hit comes through, Moy's going to be looking to reveal a Proto. Takes a fight with Supa. Losing end, though, as Brock some way somehow spams out Baby Bay, and Moist Moguls are doing it again. It doesn't matter. 5v5, 1v4, 3v3. The numbers don't matter to Moist Moguls. The only number that matters is the rounds, and they've pieced together 11.
2 rounds away from closing out this match against FaZe, from going undefeated the whole split. Only 2 rounds separates Moist from that. They're so close for making it happen. Insane plays that we've seen so far. And I think, you know, map number 1 was a lot of clutches, a lot of, I think, crazy plays that we got to see from Moist. This one feels a lot more standard. Kind of the comfortability of this map that has been 5-0 for Moist. One that teams have not been able to take against them. Especially if it's map 2, their own map pick here.
One down. Placing swarm grenade.
Ooh, okay, good fight back here from FaZe. They didn't bring the best buy, but they're finding ways. Aftershock to try and buy some time. Thief on the close angle just outside this B site. Meanwhile, Nano Swarms are out. The Proto wary of a flank as Flyo will try and find one of his own. Superman's been dealt with. That was the rifle down. Mummy has since picked one up, but can he find a fight? No, he can't. He can't. They just can't do anything, Dryad. Moist pieced together a 12th round.
Match point.
This could be it.
This could be. It was a Poise. Yeah, when he gets taken down, that is a green light to push Garage to go into the flank for the defense and make sure that their round will go the way of Moise, making it happen even faster from what we've seen before. As yeah, Moise, they get to 12 here. Yep.
Oh, Cam.
What are we looking at? A Thief and a Proto? What is a Proto showing us?
I'm waiting for the player cams of when somebody hits a clutch and they know the player cams are coming, so they like crank their chair back and pretend to be like reading a book or something of the sort, kind of giving us some flavor on the clutch outside. They thought it was funny. What I just said, whatever I just said, they thought was funny. So I'll take it.
Yeah. They think you're really funny, Tanner.
I mean, you think I'm funny, right, Dryad? Anyways, FaZe timeout.
Yeah. FaceTime out.
There's a lot to talk about. I think the most impressive thing, outside of my humor, is we've seen it from FaZe. They have no idea where Moist Moguls are going to be. Round after round, the conditioning between playing flanks or not playing flanks, lurking or not lurking, FaZe just cannot get a read on that, which is why pushes through Garage that are so known when the spike is planted on that B site go completely undetected.
Then do we see maybe an aggressive Hunter's Fury here by Tig? Now that the players have been spotted and revealed on this A side, maybe?
Blocking sight.
As the spike attempts to get planted, you have to see that there's a couple tools to make this round work out for FaZe.
Give me those.
Man, Sim, I mean, undetected, revealed was big, but Mummy here on the trade. Tries to find some more, but he's completely out of ammunition. Now Supla and Poise have to try and hang on. Lockdown destroyed with an aftershock and a shock dart. Thief gains the high ground, and now it's all up to Poised.
Stun.
You just can't do anything. He's gonna back away. They're just gonna run him down. Thief comes out and over the top. 3 kills on the round, and it is dominant here in map 2 for Moist as they close out the series in 2.
And they close out the split undefeated, Moist. Unstoppable. And with some maps, yeah, maybe going the distance, especially that map number 1 that we saw of Lotus and a couple of ones they faced. One they actually ended up losing against the guard, but an undefeated season, and the only team that is actually able and does end up this way. Moist won, and they said it before, one of my favorite teams to watch because of how many new things they're bringing up.
I mean, I'll tell you this much. I'm feeling Moist. That was an incredible series. They looked so good. This is the team that we've been praising all throughout the second split. It's a team we had high hopes for during that mid-season face-off. You know, it's really easy to forget because they do get knocked down into the lower bracket at MSF. That they had a close series against M80 that almost put them in the upper final. Would have been a top 4 finish there. Would have made this split even easier for them. It would have put them in an even better position for guaranteed playoff placement. But now they're a top 4 team. You cannot dispute that. They're 5-0 coming out of the group stages here. Seeding coming into playoffs will be very high. This is a promising run from a team that came in as free agents. People forget that this was Breakthrough, a roster that had to qualify to get to this point. And it also creates another interesting storyline. FaZe is now in a weird world. We had talked about this a little bit at the top of the show, Tanner. There was a world where FaZe would qualify with a loss, but with a win, it makes things a lot easier. With the loss, there is a scenario where I believe, if my calculations are correct, which they could be because it's confusing, FaZe could tie in a 3-way tie with Shopify and Turtle Troop, depending on the outcome of the match later today. And I think they lose the tiebreaker. So things get real interesting there because that's 3 teams fighting for 2 spots, and it's just going to be interesting. So what a series from Moist. FaZe now sweating. They're feeling moist because they're now sweating, Tanner. They don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I want to revisit that because I think when we were kind of coming into it, because the other 2 teams that are fighting for a spot or that they would be tied with are Shopify and Turtle Troop, and it would eventually, because there's no head-to-head, maps could quite possibly be tied. It would come down to round differential. And FaZe did their best, right, in map 1 to make sure that their round differential was good. And then map 2, to lose it pretty handedly, it definitely makes things a whole lot more choppy for them right now. So they're going to be sitting and waiting to see. I mean, when your future's not in your hands anymore, it's a tough place to be.
You heard it from the FaZe coach, too. He was even saying it during the video. It would just be easier to know that we're safe. But now they're watching, just waiting for the outcome of the game they have 0 impact in. So definitely a little bit stressful for the guys from FaZe. But taking things back to Moist, what a run. Since mid-season face-off, obviously mid-season face-off was a great performance from them, but it's even better here in Split 2. And I have high hopes now because this is a top 4 team. This could be one of our representatives going to Ascension, because based on what we've seen from them here in Split 2, I would put them alongside teams like M80 and Guard. G2, just G2 for this split. We don't really know what to expect for them when it comes time for playoffs, because obviously group stage has been a little bit clunky and awkward for them. Oxygen is a team that's fighting hard, but obviously with the recent roster changes, things aren't necessarily as perfect and as we would like them to be, given that we're coming into the tail end of this season. So I feel like really the competition they're fighting with is M80 and Guard. There's three teams in 2 spots. So it's going to be up to those matchups. I'm really excited to see how those go, Dryad.
I am just so confident that some crazy matches are going to happen and Moist are going to end up making it to Ascension. I just have a feeling with how good this team has been looking. I wish we would have seen the full Guard against Moist when we saw it a couple of weeks ago, because we know the guard they were actually playing with their coach. It wasn't the full guard that we often see, so it ended up going this out of Moist. It was a very close fight, but you wonder when it is the 5v5 that we often see between the two teams, would Moist still win the way that they did? It would have been still the domination by the guard. We don't really know. We're definitely going to see that in playoffs for these teams, but I'm so excited. Again, Moist is just insane. They're bringing new things that we haven't seen by any other team. They love running this double controller composition in so many maps, even the ones where nobody else is running it. They're coming up with their new ideas. They're going inside of this Moguls by a Proto. He's getting kills. Sim is incredibly consistent, sometimes playing by himself. There's so many tools that are just set up for success for the squad in the future for playoffs and whatever's next for them.
And all of that happened with the small amount of time between mid-season face-off and split 2. You give these guys more time, and what does that look like? That is a terrifying prospect, again, for anybody who has to play the Moguls.
And we talked about it in mid-season face-off. We talked about it in split 1. They were clutch kings, but we're going to go ahead and throw things to the post-series highlights. When we come back, we'll be jumping into the post-match interview. Stay tuned.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike planted. One enemy remaining. Be faster. One down. One enemy remaining.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you missed it, it was yet another win for the Moguls as Moist Moguls goes 5-0 in the group stages here in Split 2. Again, continuing the trend of improvement coming off of their success at mid-season face-off and, of course, the qualification that took place in Split 1, which means it's time for the post-match interview. And I can't imagine us interviewing anyone else after that ridiculous round. We're going to be bringing in Brock for the post-match interview. Congratulations on the win and obviously that insane clutch as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I do got to ask you guys, you come out of the first split, things were pretty good. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. You had a winning record. You end up making it into the mid-season face-off. You have a close series against M80. You guys almost make it into the upper finals. But since mid-season face-off, you guys have been like incredibly good. One of the strongest teams currently competing. What is it that things are just clicking right now with this team?
I think at the beginning our map pool wasn't as strong, so like we were struggling on some maps, so we had put like a lot of prep on those maps. But now we're like we're like a 7 map team now, so I feel like we're really good. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because your coach said that in the video piece beforehand, and I was like, I feel like there's a map we haven't seen. You guys don't really seem too fond of Bind. What is it about that map that you guys just don't really want to play it?
It's really not many teams have like picked it yet against us, but we are looking really good on it. So.
Okay. Now, like we said, it's just because, you know, maybe the split is going well doesn't mean things are always perfect. Walk me through round 24, the clutch moment, that 1v4 on Lotus. What was going through everyone's heads? What was the comms like? What was just general attitude like coming into that final moment?
Right after I got into like the 1v4, there was like no word said. And then they just kept peeking me one by one, so it's easy to win that. They just give you ones. Yep.
Did you feel like when you entered into the 1v4, like we've praised you guys for your clutch potential throughout both the first split and mid-season face-off and now in split 2, did you feel like it was pretty winnable for you given that you're so good in those clutch situations?
I feel like after I killed the Viper jumping out heaven, that's like the kill that made it really winnable. Then it became a 1v2. And then I just played my own game when I got down to the 1v2. Yeah.
How was the heart rate? Were you like starting to sweat a little bit?
It was going up towards the 1v2, then calmed down right after, but yeah.
All right, so you guys are now the #1 team in Split 2 after today. Heading into playoffs, you're in a top 4 that includes obviously M80. You've got Guard in there. You've got Oxygen as well, who I thought would have been potentially replaced by G2, but they had a rough split. You've played all 3 of those teams. How are you feeling heading into playoffs knowing you've played those teams and only lost in a close series to M80 at the mid-season face-off?
We're looking good. I feel like we match up against every team. The only 2 teams that we're like matched up with is Guard and Amanda. I think we can beat any other team really easily. So we're hoping to just make Ascension pretty easy.
That's kind of how we were framing it up here on the desk too. We were saying, like, realistically, it feels like it's a battle for 2 spots between 3 teams, and it's you guys, M80, and Guard, and we wish you the best of luck with that. We do have our final question coming in here. This one comes from the fan zone. It's actually from our very own Shelton, the replay operator, coming in here for Valorant Challengers North America. He just asks, how often does grass touching occur?
About an hour a day. I go outside like right when I wake up. I go to the gym usually for like about an hour. Then I'm back on the computer. Yep.
Practice is rough, man. The regiment is for real. Well, congratulations, an incredible split from you guys. I'll go ahead and let you celebrate. You've still got some prep to do for playoffs as well. Best of luck moving forward.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, that wraps things up for our first match of the day, but we've still got plenty more to come. And the one that's following up next is one that actually is a team we were just talking about. We're talking about the Guard, who's currently in the top 4 alongside a team like Moist Moguls. They're facing off against G2, who's had a rough second split, but is still qualified for playoffs. We'll be back in just a bit.
With eBay Refurbished, you have a choice of refurbished qualities to best fit your budget. Certified refurbished items are restored by the manufacturer to like new for up to 50% off. This drill was barely out of the box. Soon it will be back to working like new. Here's how it works. Every item is carefully inspected. Any imperfections are fixed by the manufacturer or manufacturer-approved vendor. Then it's tested to make sure it's working perfectly. Once it passes inspection, it's given the verified stamp of approval. Then repackaged with new accessories and shipped to its ultimate destination. With Certified Refurbished, you can shop with confidence because all our manufacturers go through a rigorous vetting process. And every purchase comes with an award-winning 2-year warranty, a money-back guarantee, and hassle-free returns. That's what makes it the smarter way to shop for premium brands. eBay Refurbished. Like new products, better than new prices.